Welcome from CPHI Frankfurt. I'm here with Jerry Studebaker, the Chief Commercial Officer at Azon. Azon is a pioneer in GXP AI solutions, and in this interview, we're gonna dive into the latest trends in the industry in terms of AI and where we are heading. It's good to be here today, and let me ask you this question. Many manufacturers still struggle to make their operations AI ready. What are the most common data or organizational barriers you encountered when starting to work with new clients, and how do you overcome those issues, and how do you help them also mentally overcome those challenges?
What a great question to lead off from. And it has been the number one question probably asked here at CPHI, which has been fantastic. But if you think at the barriers of the challenges, many organizations are in various states of their data readiness. But the biggest challenge really comes back down to paper. Many organizations are still leveraging paper as their fundamental process operations. From there, if they have digitalized, they still remain fragmented or very siloed in their data. So that becomes the next barrier. Then if you think about if you continue to move up, contextualization. Still, how do you get to the right elements from a product and process perspective? A big challenge for many organizations who have even implemented many data warehouses, trying to unify that data layer. The contextualization or data fabric is key at the process and product data layer. Then you must consider regulations. This is a very highly regulated industry, so we want to ensure that we've addressed the regulations and compliance barriers. And then finally, the last one, so there was really 5 elements, is the talent or skill gap. As we move into AI, you need not only the data scientists, but you have to have that pharma knowledge to ensure that those two collide. So I would narrow it down to those 5 elements.
Yeah, I think that's really spot on. Looking at the industry and coming also from quality, I know that batch variability and yield loss remain top worries for manufacturing and QA teams. So how can one effectively utilize the right AI tools for RCA and predictive analytics to minimize deviations and enhance the first-time quality, in your opinion?
Again, a great question, because if you go back to the first question, what is your data readiness state? So first and foremost, we need to meet you where you are in that data readiness, whether it's paper or full digital. From there, if we put AI on top of that, there's components that get us to the root cause. And we need to go deep into the understanding of the parameters. We need to understand how that automated process looks. We then drive into real-time data access. So being able to get that in the midst of that manufacturing process at the time it's manufactured is key. So being able to pull all of those elements together is really how we understand the critical component of root cause analysis.
Thank you for that answer, Jerry. And also in terms of data integrity and regulatory readiness point of view. So those are also critical aspects and very highly regulated, and the authorities expect a lot on data integrity. So how can one ensure that the insights and automated outputs that are generated by AI really meet the GMP expectations for audit trails, validation, and inspection readiness?
Yeah. At the heart of Azon is really GMP AI readiness. And in order to do that, you must have a GXP AI ready model management. So that includes version control, being able to track and manage those models, to be able to ensure the traceability back into the data sources. That is key to move AI into a true GXP form.
And let me ask you that. Many companies still rely heavily on paper. So how can the industry effectively transition to advanced digital solutions, and do you cut out paper and disconnect from it emotionally or in the practices that you're used to?
That's right. If the end state is AI, how do we get there? And it is really a data readiness and assessment component. First step is to digitalize your batch records. We must get off of the paper. So that includes an electronic batch record, that includes e-log books, and then digitizing your SOPs. That is the fundamental information that's going to drive AI moving forward.
Yeah. So a follow-up question on this. So you mentioned several aspects that one can digitize, and you said that the first one to start from is, in your opinion, is the batch record, right? So this is something that you've seen from your experience. This is really the best thing and the most efficient thing to start off. Like, let's say, not SOPs, not maybe different QMS and so on. So you would say the most efficient and something that consumes most of the energy, you would say, is the batch records.
Absolutely, because that is the fundamental element that allows you to release your batches, do batch comparisons, deviation investigations. So that is really the heart of your product being released in the market.
Okay, yeah, so thank you for this insight. So it's very enlightening indeed. And Jerry, if you're looking ahead 1-2 years ahead, what capability or trends in pharma manufacturing do you expect that will have the biggest impact? And how is Aeson preparing its clients for the change? Right, so maybe I can add to it. I've seen in CPHI right now talking already. I'm not sure we already achieved the Pharma 4.0, but people are already speaking about 5.0, right? So where is it heading?
That's right. We're always thinking about the future, but we first got to start with our current data state. I keep coming back to that because that's fundamental. But where is the future? And that future is 2 to 3 years out. We no longer look 10 years out. It's how quickly we are moving in this industrial era, and it is manufacturing 5.0 now. So if you think about it, the trend is industrializing GXP AI. How do you get AI to impact your process and products that are going out the door? And that's the key to moving into the right direction of the next 2 to 3 years. Where do we start? And that is really the heartbeat of Aeson. So if you look at what we can bring is, how do you start with batch monitoring? Again, digitizing it to look at the batch from that perspective. How do you then move to releasing batches based on that data? How do you ultimately get to the end state of real-time release? And then what we've all in this industry been talking about for years, continuous manufacturing. How do we ultimately bring that together? And it is really at the heart of AI. So I think we are in a pivotal time right now in which we can move forward in the era of manufacturing 5.0.
So thank you for this very fascinating, and thank you for enlightening me today and sharing your perspectives with me and the pharma community, Jerry. So a pleasure meeting you today, and wish you and Aeson best of luck in the next upcoming year and achieving all your goals and targets. And we'll see you hopefully next year in Milan.
Thanks. Very good to be here. I appreciate the conversation.